Good morning, students. Now we are in this topic types of ovules. The ovules are classified on the basis of three criteria: the orientation, form, and position of the micropyle with respect to the funicle and chalaza. And we have already discussed there are two types: orthotropous and anatropous, and where we can see third type, it is called the hemianatropous. Hemianatropous. In this type, the body of the ovule is placed transversely. We can see body of the ovule is placed transversely and at right angle to that of the funicule. This is the body of the ovule and this is the funiculus. So body and the funiculus of the ovule are placed right angle to each other. Example where we can see primulaceae. That I have to do one more question again. Fourth type, it is called campylotropous. Campylotropous in this type, the body of the ovule at the micropylar end, this is the body of the ovule at the micropylar end, is curved and more or less it is bean shaped. More or less it is bean shaped. The embryo sac is also slightly curved. All the three, that is hilum, hilum means the point of attachment, the hilum, the micropyle, and the chalaza are adjacent to one another, with the micropyle oriented towards the placenta. Example is leguminosae. In addition to the above four types, there are other two types are also there, that is called amphitropous. In this case, the distance between the hilum and chalaza is less, that is called amphitropous. In this case, chalaza and this is the chalazal end, this is the chalazal end, and this is the hilum, is very close to each other. Of the ovule, very less. Hilum and chalaza is very less. The curvature of the ovule leads to it looks like horseshoe shaped. It is the important point. Nucellus. Example is alismataceae. That means nucellus tissue is horseshoe shaped. And second type is it's called sarcinotropous. The meaning of this word sarcino, it is more or less coiled structure. Here we can see the funiculus is very long and surrounds the ovule. The funiculus, it coiled structure and it's very long, which is surrounding the ovule. Example is cactaceae. So these are 5 marks question again, types of ovules. Any 5 types may come. Now next one is called the megasporogenesis. Already we know what we mean by megasporogenesis. Now the process of development of megaspore from megaspore mother cell is called the megasporogenesis. When the ovule develops, a single hypodermal cell in the nucellus become enlarged and functions as archisporium. In some plants, the archisporial cell may directly function as megaspore mother cell. In some other cases, it may undergo transverse division to form the outer primary parietal cell and the inner primary sporogenous cell. Already in case of anther development also we have discussed. The archisporium develops into outside, it is called the primary parietal cell, and the inside it develops the megaspore mother cell. It undergoes transverse division to form the outer primary parietal cell and inner primary sporogenous cell. The parietal cell may remain undivided or divide by few periclinal and anticlinal divisions. Already we have discussed what we mean by periclinal and anticlinal division. To embed means to place the primary sporogenous cell deep into the nucellus. The primary sporogenous cell functions as megaspore mother cell. The megaspore mother cell undergoes meiotic division to form 4 haploid megaspores. Based on the number of megaspores that develop into the embryo sac, we have 3 types of development: monosporic, bisporic, and tetrasporic. On which basis? Based on the number of megaspores. If one megaspore is responsible for the development of embryo sac, it is called monosporic. 2 megaspores bisporic, or all the 4 megaspores tetrasporic. The megaspores are usually arranged in linear tetrad. In the diagram we can see, this is the diagram, all the 4 megaspores, they are developed in linear fashion, which forms the tetrad. Of the 4 megaspores formed, usually the chalazal end, which one is this is the chalazal end megaspore, functional, and other 3 degenerates. These 3 may degenerate, and the chalazal end megaspore develops the embryo sac. Forms functional megaspore, forms the female gametophyte or embryo sac. This type of development is called the monosporic development. Example where you can see in a polygonum. Of the 4 megaspores formed, if 2 are involved in embryo sac formation, it is called, already I have told, bisporic. We can see in allium. Allium in the family, that is onion, garlic, these are the members of allium genus. If all the 4 megaspores are involved in embryo sac formation, it is called tetrasporic, where you can see peperomia. An ovule generally has single embryo sac. The development of monosporic embryo sac is discussed in your syllabus. So, development of monosporic embryo sac. Now, next part we are going to discuss about this. To describe the stages in embryo sac development and organization, the simplest monosporic type is given in your syllabus. We will be discussing step by step. The functional megaspore, that means if it is out of 4 megaspores, 1 megaspore is responsible for the development of embryo sac or female gametophyte, it is called the monosporic. So, the chalazal end megaspore is responsible for the development of embryo sac or female gametophyte. The megaspore first elongates along the micropylar chalazal axis. The nucleus undergoes mitotic division. That means the haploid megaspore divides mitotically and gives rise to 2 nuclei. A large central vacuole now arises in between the 2 daughter nuclei. See the diagram, vacuole develops so that 2 nuclei are pushed on 2 opposite sides, that means towards the micropylar end and towards the chalazal end. Both these nuclei divide twice mitotically. These 2 nuclei divides mitotically twice. So, twice means first division it will be giving rise to 2. Another division 2 will be giving rise to 4. So, all the 8 nuclei are formed in the common cytoplasm. So, at this stage all the 8 nuclei are present in the common cytoplasm. Free nuclear division, there will be no cell wall formation, only nuclear division takes place. After the last nuclear division, the cell undergoes appreciable elongation, assuming a sac-like appearance. This is followed by cellular organization. After this nuclear division, cellular organization of the embryo sac takes place. Of the 4 nuclei at the micropylar end of the embryo sac, 3 organizes into the egg apparatus. This is the micropylar end has been shown, egg apparatus. The 4th one is left free in the cytoplasm of the central cell as the upper polar nucleus. Similarly, the 3 nuclei of the chalazal end form the 3 antipodal cells, whereas the 4th one left free, which is called the lower polar nucleus. Depending on the plant, the 2 polar nuclei may remain free or they may fuse to form the secondary nucleus, and that will be located in the central region of the embryo sac. The egg apparatus is made up of a central egg and 2 synergids, one on each side of the egg. So, if this is the egg apparatus, central, these 2 are called the synergids, and the central region is having the egg. So, egg is present in the egg apparatus, egg is present in the central region, which is surrounded by 2 synergids. The egg apparatus is made up of central egg cell and 2 synergids, one on each side of the egg cell. Synergid secretes chemotropic substances that help to attract the pollen tube. So the pollen tube will be reaching to the egg and fertilization will be effected. The spatial cellular thickening called the filiform apparatus present in the synergids help in the absorption, conduction of nutrients from the nucellar tissue to the embryo cell. The function of the specialized cellular thickening which is present in synergids, they are called the filiform apparatus. It also guides the pollen tube into the egg. Thus, a 7-celled or 8-nucleated embryo sac is formed. So, this is overall. Thank you, children.